Woke up and the city was on fire. You could see the pandemonium for miles. I've been living with this feeling for a while. If death is coming, I'ma greet him with us. I've been living like push the pedal to the metal till I see the flag blowing chunks out the ozone while I burn the gas crackers on my ass. Think I'm finna crash. I ain't worried till I hit the curb. Vision blurs, learn every word. Coupe in is filled with different flavors. They just wanna live something I could give life in the 16. Painting pictures like the 16. Even now I'm on my back staring at the ceiling wondering what this shit mean. I don't wanted this my whole life. Now I'm here feeling so right. Getting faded in the strobe lights. Nigga, I could do this all night. Show me life, show me love, show me something real, show me something brand new. Take your time, ain't no rush. I just wanna feel everything you've been through. We ain't leaving till they shut it down. So take advantage when it come around. Doing damage every time we out. They gon' remember me without a doubt.
Oh, welcome everyone to the Friday before Super Bowl. Oh boy,
bittersweet show today, you know? Like, I love it because we got so much to talk about. There's so much going on, but it just sucks because football's over.
You know,
officially.
I referenced the dark days of sports a couple times. This isn't necessarily it, but the dark days of sports are like August, I believe, right? When it's just Major League Baseball, and that's it.
Yeah, but at least we're like ramping up for football then. There's fantasy drafts going on. There's new fantasy stuff to talk about every single day. Like, you know, college football is about to start. You know, there's a certain anticipation in the air in August. You know, you get into October. October's the best month there is, right? You got every single major sport going on, right? You got hockey, you got basketball, you got baseball.
Maybe let's go football. No, yeah. That's the mecca right there, right?
That's like we're locked in. We're ready to go.
That's when the 4 TVs rolled out every week. You know, it's a staple of the living room.
Yeah.
Even though my wife doesn't really appreciate it, but you know what? It's time to take an L every once in a while. You know,
I understand that.
You can't win them all. Well, how's your week been?
My week. Wow, here we are. Look at us.
We're a professional team.
How fucking cute was that, by the way? That was absolutely adorable right there.
We are a professional team.
We both try to give the other person the floor and say, oh, go ahead and tell us how your week was. My week was fine. I really don't have much to report on it. I'm really excited to get into this NBA chatter. How was your week?
You know what? I am very, very excited. Florida weather is back. We are in the 80s, baby. We had thunderstorms last night.
85, the highs today.
80, but you know what? It's 80, 80, and then 67. Yeah. I tried to get in my community pool the other day. It was ice cold. Why that pool is not heated is beyond me. But it also kind of, brought my attention up to my cold plunge pool and whether or not I'm going to actually be able to use that. Yes, everyone, here we are live. And you know what, just for everybody back at home, I know that we've had a lot of technical issues over the past 5 weeks because this is our 11th episode. However, I was watching First Take the other day and they were going into the intro of the KD trade and there was no audio, folks. Molly had no audio, Stephen A had no audio for almost the entire intro. So even as low budget as we are, as high budget, there's always mistakes, and we really appreciate you sticking with us, especially during that last debacle, brought to you by #AdSpectrum Internet.
What's the difference between low budget and no budget? Because that's about where we are. We're more on the no budget.
Well, Jeff, I realize on your end that there's no budget, but there actually is a budget involved in this.
What is it? I haven't seen it. I haven't got the printout for this.
I didn't realize I needed to report to you, but we are in the 4 figures already. So, yes, that's not .00 either.
Heard that.
Anyway, what an amazing week that we had this week. You know, obviously this is going to be a Super Bowl stream, and we're going to talk about Super Bowl stream more than likely the entire second half. But we can't get out with some of the stuff that happened in the NBA, and more importantly, the WNBA. That's
Oh, yeah,
right.
tell me about the story. Yeah.
That's right, folks. We are reporting on the WNBA right here at the Uninformed Fan. The Las Vegas Aces are now under investigation for circumventing the cap and paying their players under the table. What a world we live in where the WNBA is on the Uninformed Fan and we are in scandal century.
And we're leading with it as well too, which is
We are leading with this.
So it's a very interesting story just because they did just win the WNBA title. They got a great team. I love Kelsey Plum. I think she dates Darren Waller, if I'm not mistaken. But she's a phenomenal point guard. Played great for them this year. And it's very interesting, too, because they just signed Candace Parker, which was out of the blue. Nobody expected that to happen. Candace Parker announces she's going to go play for Las Vegas this coming year. Kind of raised everybody's eyebrows, and all of a sudden, a week later, this story drops that they've been paying players under the table. Listen, the WNBA's got to get its shit together, right? Whether we talked about before when you're talking about not being able to charter jets because not everybody in the WNBA, the owners own the same amount or are worth the same amount and can't afford it. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous. Get your shit together, WNBA.
You know, I'd like to take a moment right here for everybody that's watching. You know, all 10 viewers of you. You know, that is a multiplier. I know that Twitch, so it's probably like 10,000. Can we just take a moment to appreciate Off the Schneid's knowledge of the WNBA? I mean,
listen, as somebody who loves to bet WNBA unders, there's nothing better. Also, it's very interesting because, one of the girls who was holding out as well, too, this is the second WNBA story. Brianna Stewart, I believe. Was it Brianna Stewart? I think so. Anyway, she was looking to change teams. She went to the New York Liberty, which is a very big deal as well, too, because she was kind of trying to hold out for better travel arrangements, like we were talking about before. When it comes to being able to charter those planes and stuff like that, which those girls absolutely deserve. They shouldn't be sitting next to Joe Schmo banging down Tito's crayons on Southwest Airlines, trying to jump a plane over to Connecticut to go play the Soul. So anyway, now that we got that out of the way, let's jump.
So let's talk about another news story that is equally of the same importance. LeBron James, your GOAT, breaking the scoring record. Very, very compete, LeBron. It was very, very tough, but the WNBA did beat you out as the top spot on the But here we are, LeBron James. We can finally say he is the all-time scoring leader. Ooh, doesn't change anything in most people's opinions.
I thought you were going to say he was the greatest player of all time for a second, the way you were leading into that.
No, but what I was thinking of was when I was saying that is watching the ESPN videos of him walking by and him sitting on the throne and all the other ones looking at him. You know what? I don't even care, because I will say Michael Jordan doesn't put as much energy into this as anybody else. LeBron does, but Michael Jordan could care less, and he's already said that, which is probably why I like him, as far as that. But I would just love to see him. Would that be like the Last Dance episode where he's looking at it? Where he's looking at him sitting on a throne, like, yeah, right. Like I'm ever looking up at this dude on a throne. But you know what?
You loving Michael Jordan only has to do with the way that he reacts to these things. It has nothing to do with you being a Bulls fan.
Oh, right? That's just slander. That is just absolute slander. We'll get into the GOAT debate. I'm going to give you the floor here so you can congratulate your GOAT on the scoring title. Please, the floor is yours.
Well, I mean, yeah. Look, LeBron James, the greatest scorer ever. JJ Redick had a great rant about it. About people who think that LeBron is not a great scorer. Well, obviously he is. He scored the most points in the history of basketball.
Over the longest period of time.
What an amazing night it was, actually. So obviously they lose the game, and the night was completely engulfed by the emotions and the taking over of what it was to be in that setting. I do find it funny, those people who paid so much money to be down there, and especially who bought the tickets for the Bucks game as well too. What do you do with that after you spend all that money to try to see the record broken? The fact that he did it in 3 quarters when we didn't know if he was going to be able to do it for the entire game, it was like a man on a mission. I say this, when LeBron decides he's going to take over a game, it's second to none, pretty much. Jordan was great. Jordan had that killer instinct, but LeBron is just so unstoppable physically. He's so absolutely gifted. It's incredible. Watching the back and forth with him and Kareem was great as well too. I'm not sure what was going on with Anthony Davis there, where Anthony Davis was sitting down when LeBron made that shot, the beautiful step back, the thing that will live in infamy forever.
One of his patented step backs.
It just seems so apropos to me. Also, the picture is beautiful, right? There's a picture of him, shooting the shot, and then you see in the background every single person has their phone out. The only person who does not is Phil Knight. Actually.
Old school, baby. Old school.
Yeah, he's just sitting there taking in the moment and enjoying it. The founder of Nike, so pretty cool moment there. You know, we've gotten into this debate a lot lately, and I was talking with our good buddy Frank Burgo last night about this is what makes sports so great, and this is why we love to do this, and we love to talk about this and chop this up and shoot the shit, is because we now get to have the debate of who is the greatest basketball player of all time. And we can say that it doesn't matter, it's different generations, different whatever, different iterations. I'm telling you right now, for my money, LeBron James is the best basketball player I've ever seen in my life. You know, maybe he's not the best in terms of, you know, that killer instinct to win. You know, maybe he didn't go 6 for 6 in the NBA Finals. You know, maybe he didn't create the most iconic shoe brand known to man, pretty much. But for me, you know, you're talking about a guy who's a 4-time NBA champion. He's won 4 Finals MVPs. You know, 18 All NBA teams as well too. 9 All-Stars. You know, he only led the league in scoring 1 time. That's the craziest thing about LeBron is that, you know, he's number 1 in points, but he's number 4 all-time active in assists, and he's number 9, I believe, in terms of three-pointers made. Truly incredible stuff. You know, the knock against LeBron has always been, you know, he's not clutch. He doesn't play defense. He's made all defensive teams before in his career. And to say that he's not clutch, JJ Redick had this great point on the rant that he did on his podcast, which is phenomenal. I think I would love to see JJ in a role like in terms of calling games and being an analyst actually during the games on the court.
His basketball knowledge is pretty impressive. I will give him that.
It's great. I love JJ when he does that. But you know that LeBron James, since they started doing the play-by-play analytics, actually has the most clutch time points ever with 2,600 points in clutch time. Okay, we don't say he's clutch. He's got the second most game-tying or go-ahead shots ever in the last minute of the fourth quarter or overtime, second only to Kobe Bryant, and he has the most ever buzzer beaters in the playoffs with 5. So I see your.
And he's also missed the second most missed shots of NBA all time.
Who's number 1?
Kobe Bean, because you know that dude is firing it from everywhere.
Just wanted to make sure. Yeah, I mean, Kobe, and look, Kobe's. You know, this debate gets so heated with people as well, too, and it doesn't have to be. It can be a back and forth, you know. Maybe I think LeBron, to me, is the best basketball player I've ever seen in my life. Maybe I think Michael Jordan is the best competitor I've ever seen in my life. Maybe I think that Kobe Bryant has, you know, the most will to win his team to get to a championship. Maybe I think Bill Russell is the greatest champion in the history of the NBA, okay? I can have all these opinions individually. I don't have to say, you know, definitively, you know, one person is the absolute. You know, they all had their great moments and their
even though you just said he was the greatest all time.
I said LeBron is the best basketball player I've ever seen in my life.
You actually just said the greatest of all time. We'll rewind that a little bit later. You know, I'll give it to you, man. LeBron is a phenomenal talent. I've told you, I've respected what he's done on the floor, you know, from the time that he came in. 18 years old, they called him the king from the start, you know. Obviously, the decision thing tarnished a big chunk of his career for a while, but he still went down there, won 2 titles. The biggest thing to me, and I think a lot of people out, and we're talking about generational and who's your GOAT and who's. I think that's just, you can see it in the generations. You know, like Mad Dog is, you know, he's the Montana versus Brady. You know, he's the Jordan. I think it was just, you know, what basketball players related to you the most during your time playing, and there's no doubt. I mean, even right now, at the highest level that LeBron is still playing at, I do believe it was Charles Barkley yesterday talking about how Giannis is not even touched as the best basketball player on the earth right now. Giannis. So, I mean, that's still going well and on. But the thing that really amazes me is, like, when Michael Jordan was playing, there was nobody that said that anybody else was better than him, except for probably maybe in the Wizards at that very, very last year. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, and I guess you can kind of relate that a little bit to LeBron right now. He's on the tail, but he's still playing at a high level.
Crazy level.
You know, the thing to me is one of the things that, you know, Jordan said that really just resounds with me is like, well, I didn't come here to play for stats or titles. I'm sorry, for stats or numbers. If I would have done that, I wouldn't have retired in between. I came here to win championships, and that's it. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about passing Kareem. To me, it seemed like early on in LeBron's career that that's what he was going for. He was going to leave a mark in the record books throughout his career. That's just my take on it. I know a lot of people won't say that. I just never really felt like he was there to be a team player. Now, I know how bad that sounds, and it's not really egregious enough to be on that like spectrum, like where he's just a solid individual. But I will say the fact that Anthony Davis was sitting on the bench with zero reaction as one of the premier basketball players in the NBA says a little bit about possibly that. And when Michael Jordan was asked about, being the greatest, he said the same thing. He said, I don't want to even be in talk about that. I feel like it disrespects the other, the players from the other ends. And then you go on the other hand, you put a microphone to LeBron and says, I'm the greatest that ever played. And you got to love the self-confidence of that. But on the same token, was Jordan just trying not to step on shoes? Was he trying to be just the political dude? Because we all know that Jordan doesn't get into politics. He doesn't express his opinions, anything like that publicly, which is great because I feel like that alienates half of your fan base right off the rip. But I just
Which
feel
has been a huge thing for LeBron too. Him and his politics has gotten in the way of how a lot of people view him as well too, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I do think it's very interesting because you were talking about the beginning of LeBron's career. And just to kind of piggyback off that real quick, I do think when he was with Cleveland, it was a lot about LeBron. He didn't understand, he came in with the crown on his head. That we all know that cover photo for ESPN where, King James, and he's the anointed one and so on and so forth. And I think he came into Cleveland and a lot of that was that way, right? Where it was all about him. It was all about what he's going to score. I think he went to Miami to learn how to lead a team from guys like Dwayne Wade, from guys like Udonis Haslem. He learned a lot in Miami. He became more of an alpha in Miami. He became an alpha by becoming a beta. I don't know if that makes sense. But to me, it does, right? He became more of a leader within the locker room by being able to defer to other people.
Correct.
In terms of allowing them to open up their own games and have their own confidence and being sure enough in himself, knowing that what he does is going to be good enough. And then it became about championships for him. That's all it became about for LeBron. That's why you saw him go. But then
not on the same token,
brought the championship back to Cleveland as well too, which had the longest drought in the history of sports at that time. Which was an amazing accomplishment too. And then to be able to finish his career in LA, and raise his kids there, which is what he wants to do. It's
is his career done in LA though? I don't think so.
Well, it's funny, which we can get into as well too. But they're talking about all the second round picks and some reasons people are
and chat on Facebook, and that's the thing. They still lost to OKC, and it was basketball is a team sport, right? It's a team sport. Everybody knows it. Even regardless if you have Jordan, Kobe, whoever, basketball is a team sport, right? And so, like, whenever I hit a home run in baseball, you come around the plate, you're high-fiving all your players, right? Whenever you hit a game-winning shot or something like that, you rally around your teammates because they made it. And it was weird to me, he hit the drawback fade out, and he just walked away from everybody, stood on his own, and was like, yes. And to me, it was just like, he accomplished what he wanted to accomplish. And
I agree with that. I absolutely agree with you on that.
And that's just kind of where, like, to me, it just feels like I think that just goes to the Lakers' struggles, man. Like I said, AD, it just doesn't feel like a team. Especially when you have LeBron coming out and saying, well, I'm playing at the highest level right now and I don't know why we're losing. Or maybe it's me. Or, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of drama. Like we talked about, the housewives of the NBA, right? We're going to get into the trade deadline. I got a
great segment later.
And all of the drama that comes around with these NBA teams. And it's just like, bro, whatever happened to just go out in there playing for the love of the game? And I mean, I was the same one sometimes. I was a three-point sharpshooter. If I didn't get the ball, then sometimes I'd be like, hey, bro, what's up? What's up? You saw me over there, right? I saw that brick you just threw up. Good shot. Maybe hit it out. I don't know. But I do agree with you, and I think Eric Spoelstra had a lot to do with that, with his time in Miami. I think Eric Spoelstra helped out LeBron more than we'll ever know in regards to developing him into the man that he is today.
Pat Riley, I'm sure had a lot to do with that. And if you what was the Winning Time? Is that the show that was on HBO with John C. Reilly, and they had Pat Riley being played by Adrian Brody. And it's a great role. Obviously, not everybody is looked at in the same light, like Jerry West is trying to sue them for that. But that did shed a little bit of light into the man that Pat Riley was back then and the way that he assisted players. And I think you're right. Pat Riley had a lot to do with it. I think being in Miami learning that professionalism. But we're talking about a kid who's been anointed since the time he was 15 years old, who's never had a scandal in terms of outside of the NBA, who's still with the mother of his children and his wife Savannah, who they've been with together.
Always gave him props for that. Always did.
And imagine the things that he's been offered or propositioned with in his life, and I have so much respect for the guy in terms of what he's done on the court and the way he's handled himself off the court when it comes to his family life as well. Salute to LeBron. Congratulations. I do agree with you. I think it became in the last few years, it became this, how am I going to attain this goal, right? How am I going to get to pass Kareem? And that became basically the focus and what he wanted to do, especially after he won the championship with the Lakers in the bubble here. It'll be interesting to see the way everything shifts, right? He didn't play last night. He took the night off as well.
Come on, man.
And now with everybody, all the different pieces that they have coming in, they can get a practice or two under their belt. I think it'll be very interesting to see the push that the Lakers make at the end of this season.
Chad said on Facebook, we will find out the dirt on LeBron now that D'Angelo is back. Don't worry. That's a great point. Thank you, Chad. When we talk about the greatest of all time, we're gonna get back to that. We're gonna wrap that up, and then we're gonna move on to some awesome NBA trade deadline.
Yes.
So, but you know what? The funny thing to me is about this, okay? And a lot of people say, well, now that he's got this, but nobody thought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Well, actually, I take that back. Some people thought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was still the greatest of all time because of the scoring title. And I think that goes back into the longevity that we're talking about as far as like Tom Brady and Joe Montana. Joe Montana didn't lose a Super Bowl. Right? I don't think he even threw an interception in a Super Bowl. And that's why a lot of people saying he's the greatest of all time. Under pressure, boom. We talked about Brady, the couple ones that he didn't. But LeBron's just longevity over the whole time. Obviously you're going to have points if you play. I calculated it out, and just the points, years, everything. Obviously Jordan had more points per year than LeBron over the career, and if he would have continued done it, would have had, by this stage now, over 41,000 points or something like that. But like we said, again, like I told you, if you're either a LeBron GOAT or you're a Jordan GOAT, and nobody's changing your mind. Either way, nobody's going to put an argument. It's just like politics. You're either this side or this side, and nobody's changing your mind. And nobody's gonna say, oh, well, this. You're going to be like, oh, I didn't think about that. You're right. LeBron's better. No, nobody's doing that. You have your GOAT. I think it's a lot based on what you grew up with. I think the younger generations are going to view LeBron as the GOAT. I think the older generations are going to view it as Jordan. But the bigger picture I see here is, even with the talent that you see in the NBA, Ja Morant, all those guys, who's next?
Well, so I think this is very interesting because I think the way that Steph Curry changed the game of the NBA, and the way that kids who are or guys who are 10 years younger than us now, right? You're talking about, guys in their early 20s or whatever. Eventually, they will view Steph as the GOAT because Steph changed the game for them, in my opinion. And Steph's going to score points. He's going to continue to score points. Going to continue to hit threes. I think it's very impressive what LeBron's doing at 38 years old as well, too. You talk about longevity of career and
it's a soft league now.
I don't disagree with
that. I say that with a grain of salt. I know he's still. I understand, and it's still an extraneous sport. But but just like in football anymore, man, the amount of timeouts, the amount of TV timeouts that there are in between games, like there's a lot of breaks and a lot of rest during games that didn't happen in earlier lifetimes. I
couldn't have imagined like Michael Jordan having the health and nutrition and weightlifting and everything now currently in the NBA that they have, and the amount of nutritionists that they have on staff, and just people like completely always monitoring you and monitoring your macros, what you're eating, everything going on like that. Like I couldn't imagine how good Michael Jordan would have been. And I will be honest with you, I have flip-flop back and forth, right? I thought it was LeBron for a number of years. I kind of went away from LeBron and switched back to Jordan for about the past 3 or 4 years, and then now, to me, I'm leaning back toward LeBron again.
All right, so we'll bring you back. I'm getting better. The producer's saying we got to move on. The last thing I'm going to say about the greatest thing of all time, especially in relationship to LeBron, is his hairline. And that fucking hairline has come back beautifully. LeBron, hit up the DMs, bro. I need to see what you got going on there.
You can do it, Tyson.
I got, it's like a football field, right? outside of the numbers are great, but inside the hashtags, we got problems. And LeBron, you brought it back. You gave us all hope. Thank you so much. That could be one of your greatest contributions to society. Let it out there. All right. Let's get to the NBA trade deadline. We got to pick it up a little bit. What a trade deadline. We got Kyrie to the Mavs, Durant to the Suns. The Lakers made some moves. The Bulls did absolutely nothing. The Magic got rid of Mo. I mean, everybody's ready to crown the Phoenix Suns the new champions now with KD, Chris Paul, and Booker. I'm not buying it.
Ayton.
I'm not buying it. I'm going to let you take the floor on this one.
Yeah, so I mean, listen, you know I love NBA, and it was an amazing trade deadline. There was so much action back and forth everywhere, and there was a lot of big trades that happened, right? Kyrie going to Dallas is a huge thing. KD going to Phoenix is a huge thing. I thought other teams made smaller moves that were more under the radar that are going to end up being a little bit more impactful. Now, I do think that when we get into this West and we get into the Western Conference playoffs, it's going to be phenomenal, dude. Like, I cannot wait to see some of these matchups that we have going. A lot of teams stayed put, right? But I do think the Clippers got better. I think the Lakers got better. I think the Suns got better.
The Clippers, I didn't see what the Clippers do.
The Clippers picked up 3 players. They got Eric Gordon in terms of a shooter that they have from the Houston Rockets. They got Mason Plumlee, and then they got Bones Highland, who's been a highlight reel guy for the Nuggets. I guess I'm not really sure what happened. I was talking about this with TJ yesterday, the day before, and I think there must have been something happened with a falling out. He fell out of the rotation hard. Wasn't getting playing minutes after playing a significant role the entire year, and then gets traded. Just a few days later. So very interesting. Also kind of cool. So Phoenix did get Kevin Durant. They also got TJ Warren, who's been a really good scorer in this league as well too. So a lot of instant offense coming in. It'll be interesting to see how they facilitate everything. I mean, Book is not going to be the same guy with the ball in his hands. Who's going to be the spot up shooter? Who's going to be the playmaker? Chris Paul going to be able to kind of run that pick and roll with Ayton. I think it'll be great. The Mavs with Kyrie looked great first game. Kyrie came out, really lit it up. I think 24 points in his debut. Seems to be very happy. We all know how that goes with Kyrie. It'll be like that for a few weeks, and then we'll go ahead and move forward. Very interesting moves as well by the Los Angeles Lakers, right? Lakers, a slew of moves, man. A slew of moves.
Do the Lakers have any more first-round picks for the rest of this century?
They have one. It's very interesting, too, because, and I was listening to a point about this, right? And it's that in the NFL, you can only trade your first-round picks 3 years out, right? You can't trade them more than 3 years out. They won't allow you to do it. In the NBA, it's just kind of a free-for-all. Like, I'm watching 2029 first-round picks get dealt around. I'm watching 5 second-round picks getting dealt for James Wiseman, which is a very interesting story as well, by the way. Now, I'll come right back to the Lakers, but James Wiseman, former number 2 overall pick, ends up getting dealt to the Detroit Pistons, basically for 5 second-round picks. The Warriors got nothing back. By doing that, the Warriors actually saved themselves like $57 million. The reason being is that because they are so far over the luxury tax, they're paying 3x on all their cap hits that they have. And by getting rid of him and not taking any contracts back, it saved them $57 million for their ownership group. So just one,
which I'm sure that they really need.
No, I mean, I'm sure that their ownership group is
pay the players
down there with the Warriors, but also going forward, they were going to owe him another like $13 million next year, which would have been then like $80 million in tax that they had to pay. As well too, but these second round picks getting thrown around everywhere.
It's just like I said, I saw the 2029 Lakers pick too, the protected. I'm like, what happens to Lakers once LeBron is gone? Like, you're going to be in shambles for years.
I saw an interesting theory on the second round picks and why so many of them have been getting thrown around like this. And the trade deadline, and one of the theories is that the second round picks are getting thrown around because in a few years when kids are allowed to go straight from high school to the pros, those second round picks will be used as developmental picks. So you'll be able to
is that coming back?
Supposedly it's in the works. This is just something that I saw that was talked about. So supposedly if that comes back, boom, you draft a kid in the second round, you're going to have a 2-way contract with him in the G League. He can get his reps, get his playing time in the G League while getting paid as well too. Play against professionals, and then you can move him up and you own his rights from there.
But on the same token, and not to cut you off there, but I'm just saying with NIL, right? Like, it's conceivable that they could make more money in college.
Yeah, but I do think there's something to be said for these kids. You know, I think a lot of times too, they're allowed to, as long as they don't hire an agent, right? They're allowed to declare, they're allowed to get their projection and their round grade, and then they can pull out if they want to as well. Um,
Yeah, but let's just say, I mean, even that second round pick going to a G League, you're not getting paid millions.
well, we'll see what inflation rises to at that point, but it will be interesting to see, you know, because you could be in a pro system. You could be in a pro system at that point.
Okay, but let me ask you this question.
Instead
Okay,
of being on a college campus.
let me ask you this question. Say that you're an NBA prospect, right? Okay.
Yes.
You could either go play for the University of Kentucky for $2 million and get that bag and know that you're still going to get drafted afterwards, or you can go to the NBA, play in the G League for $100 grand.
I think it depends. Well, first of all, it wouldn't be 100 grand, but I also do think it depends.
I'm sorry, it'd probably be less.
On what kind of a player I am, right? Am I a player who, like, I need the 2 million, I want the 2 million, and the 2 million is gonna, you know, allow me to go to Kentucky and party with the co-eds in Lexington? I don't know, right? But or am I a player who wants?
I'm
to
talking
get
about
into
you.
me personally.
Yeah, you.
I'm probably going straight.
Because you
to
said
pros.
you said that you were good at basketball, even though you lost in the pool basketball by a pretty large margin to me and TJ. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you were getting killed from the spot ups. But anyway, most people are going to take the bag, bro. That's what this whole NIL is about, right? It's about, hey, we need to get paid. And I think that argument, unless it's like a prodigy, like a Kobe, like a LeBron, that, you know, coming out 19 years old is going to play, I think it's a moot point with NIL.
Well, and the other argument was too, as well, is that, you know, teams want to acquire all these second round picks because, you know, when LeBron's son comes out, you know, he'll probably be able to be drafted in the second round. You'll get LeBron James with him as well too. Just a little funny tangent they had as well.
Well, just to wrap up here, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just to wrap up about the trades real quick. The Mavs getting Kyrie, I do think that's one of the most fair trades that I saw in terms of, you know, if you look at the Nets, they've now got 5 first-round picks that they acquired and like 4 second rounds or something like that.
And I actually watched that game last night against the Bulls.
They played the Bulls last night.
That team still looks sharp. That Thomas dude is on fire.
He's really good, and now you add Dinwiddie, who can, you know, play everywhere, and, you know, you got spot up shooters in terms of Joe Harris as well, who lit it up last night. That's going to be a very interesting team. Listen, they're going to make the playoffs anyway. They're in the 5th spot already,
which is a joke.
There's no way that in what 27 games that we have left or whatever that they're going to lose 20 of them.
No,
they go 7-20.
I don't. I think they're going to be at least 500 from what I saw last night.
They could.
It looks to me. You know what it looks to me like? It looks to me like they have something to prove now, right? They got rid of both superstars. So you got these younger guys that are coming saying, look, hey, you know what? We appreciate Kyrie and KD for what they have, but we're just as good, and we're gonna show it. And they balled out last night. Now, granted, the Bulls are, you know, the Bulls, I don't know what the fuck's going on with the Bulls, but it's really painful to watch. It's just so painful to watch. They shot like 17% from the three-point line last night. Absolutely unbelievable. In today's NBA, the three-point line is what makes or breaks. That's it. Just makes it break.
It's weird to me. Yeah, a few teams that didn't make moves, right? When you talk about the Heat, the Bulls, it's just odd to me that they didn't try to improve, you know, some part or some aspects of their team. Now, one of the teams that I love what they did at the deadline, and I thought it was incredible, is the Los Angeles Lakers. And I kind of mentioned this in my LeBron rant when I was talking about it, but to go out to get rid of a contract like Russell Westbrook, to not give up that much. I think they did trade Thomas Bryant as well too. But you get back Mo Bamba, D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley, and we'd be remiss not to say Rui Hachimura as well too, who's going to be a key cog to that team. I think the Lakers got better than anybody in the NBA at this trade deadline. That includes sending Kevin Durant there. I think D'Angelo Russell's going to open up the floor. Mo Bamba's the same way, able to step out, hit big shots. Of course, it wouldn't be, you know, the Orlando Magic have to just give away a center to the Los Angeles Lakers. Well, you know, it's like written in blood somewhere that some voodoo person has told us that we have to give them. I don't know, bro. It's like somebody has a pen doll and they're just like laughing at the Orlando Magic.
I think the Lakers can make all the moves they want, but until Anthony Davis decides he's going to show up and play basketball, I don't think that team has a chance.
So weird to me. Now I will say this. Now we love the pettiness and the drama of the NBA as well too, and a few funny little notes that we have here for you. Right, John Wall got traded back to the Rockets. They're gonna tell him he doesn't have to report, but it was ironic because he literally just shit on the entire team about 2 weeks ago, saying about how Jalen Green and all these guys are unprofessional. If they were in any other team team or if they're in any other organization, they would be booted out. They're not professional. They suck. Yada, yada, yada. Very funny. Also, another funny little tidbit right here that I thought was interesting was that Malik Beasley gets traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. Okay. Now, if you not familiar with Malik Beasley, played for Florida State, came out. He's played with the Jazz. He's played with the Timberwolves. He's played with a few different teams. But Malik Beasley is also one of the infamous people who was one of the first people who got with Larsa Pippen when her and Scotty were going through all their things. Okay. Here's why this is interesting. Okay. So now Malik Beasley, obviously it didn't work out, and Larsa Pippen has moved on to Michael Jordan's son. Okay.
What?
You didn't know she's with Marcus Jordan now?
Oh my God, dude. And all this shit that Scotty's talking, and oh my God, Jordan's got to be just beat.
And here's the thing is that now Malik Beasley goes to the Los Angeles Lakers, and his teammate is Scottie Pippen Jr., Larsa's son. So the dynamic will be interesting. It'll be
see you at Thanksgiving, kid.
Yeah, exactly. We have gone exactly 0 days without the NBA being just completely dramatic, and it's so funny the way the NBA is. I love it. It was a great trade deadline. I cannot wait for the Western Conference playoffs and wait to see if the Lakers make this push.
Well, that's exactly when I start tuning in, is the playoffs, considering that there's only 10 teams that don't make the playoffs in the entire NBA. Like, just
can I just say this real quick? Like
67% of the teams make the playoffs.
Look at the West right now, right? Like, obviously the Lakers are pretty far down there, but I do think they will make that push, right? You got Portland with Damian Lillard. You got Golden State with Clay and Steph. You got Minnesota with all their weapons that they have now as well, too.
You think Portland's going to compete?
No, but I'm saying they're like in that mix that like they're going to push for a play-in game, right? You have the Timberwolves, the Pelicans, right? Will Zion ever come back? The Suns now just got Kevin Durant. The Clippers loaded. Kawhi, Paul George. You got, guys left and right. Eric Gordon. Dallas Mavericks. Now you got Luka and you got Kyrie, right? Grizzlies, you're looking at Ja Morant. Kings have had a great year, and then you got the Nuggets with Joker and Djokovic and Nikola Jokic sitting at the top of everybody, who the Orlando Magic just beat last night as well, too. I tell you what, the Orlando Magic, we are some killers when it comes to these big teams, man.
I guess you're going to be signing up for season tickets next year for the Magic, eh? Because I remember like 3 years ago you told me they were on the up. They were on the up and up.
And I turned out to be right. It took 4 years. I apologize. We could have gotten dirty.
I've said it every year from the Bears, so hey, look at me.
Should have listened to me.
All right, well, it's going to be very interesting to see where all these trades end up and see what on. Let's get to the NFL, the National Football League. We got a Super Bowl matchup coming up Sunday in Arizona. Before we get just into that one, we are just going to touch a hair on just one contract negotiation with Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. And we've had some heated discussions on this as far as our guaranteed money and this, that. The leaked record contract that Lamar Jackson did not sign. 5 years, $260 million, $208 million guaranteed. That was not good enough for Mr. Jackson. Okay.
Who's supporting that? The Ravens? The Ravens leaked that, I'm sure. There's no way Lamar leaked that, right?
I will look up the source here in a second after I get done with this. Apparently the holdout is apparently the original contract was 5 years, $260 million, $158 million guaranteed, which would give him $8 million over Aaron Rodgers. He said he wanted the whole thing guaranteed. They came back with $208 million guaranteed, and yeah, we still don't have a contract signed. And to me, I mean, this was off a Pro Football Focus. A reputable, All I'm saying is that if this contract is true, bro, what are we doing here? $208 million is a lot of money to be guaranteed, especially for a mobile quarterback, which we both have talked numerous times about. If he gets hurt, the team's fucked on the salary cap. So I don't know. Maybe this man just doesn't want to play in Baltimore, which rightfully so. Whatever you want. I'm sure, like you said, the Falcons or somebody else. Now they're already. It's coming out that he's not going to play under the franchise tag. which I don't blame him for that either, because he's gonna get hurt. I don't know what the hell is going on in pro sports. All I know is that when a man is making $260 million, $52 million a year, right? And I got to pay $500 a ticket for a lower bowl game at Soldier Field, there's a fucking problem. When Super Bowl tickets, the lowest ticket to get in the stadium is $4,500. The highest is $25,000. There's a problem. I said the same thing when Mike Trout signed his $40 million deal at in Los Angeles, in the Angels. And that's just what it all comes down to. And that's all. I don't care about the, what the owners, how much money they have, what's going on with them. All I'm saying is, if this is correlated to the ticket prices, hot dog prices, beer prices, then it's egregious. If that's a completely separate entity, cool, no big deal. But the fact is that if you go, the Chicago Bears, this year I went to the Bears-Packers game. They were $400 a ticket. So 4 tickets, $1,600. So if I have a family of 4, it's cost me $1,600 just to walk in the door. A round of hot dogs, whatever, you're another 100. It's like, and again, I'm not saying that those prices are directly correlated towards salaries, but I'm sure the ticket prices are something in there. And that's what I said about baseball and the NFL. It's like, eventually, like, who's going to these games? It's a majority corporately owned, just like the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl isn't about the game anymore, about the fans. It's about corporate events, about who's buying who. Nobody's paying attention to it. I remember the last time that Philadelphia went to the Super Bowl. It was a while ago. People were taking out second mortgages on their home to be able to afford the tickets, airfare, hotels, to be able to go down there. Now, I'm all for people getting paid. We've said that. But come on. If this is true, $208 million guaranteed, and you said no, which would still been the highest paid, right? Did Kyler Murray get $200?
Deshaun Watson right now is the highest paid, I believe. I'm not sure. I have to look up his.
His was like $260, I think. But his is fully guaranteed. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Hey, listen, go get your bag if you can, Lamar. Who knows when it's all going to be over. So,
yeah, hopefully
by
soon.
all means, go get your money. And obviously, this is we would sign that contract, right? But maybe Lamar doesn't want to be in Baltimore. I don't know if that will be his final number that he rests on. I'll tell you that.
I'm saying, if you don't want to be in Baltimore, then just don't be in Baltimore.
No.
Just straight up say, I don't want to play there.
He also didn't play for the last however many games of the year when he could have. So there is that aspect.
Well, he was hurt. We've already said that the fact that he was hurt, he shouldn't play. Let's get on to some more important. Let's get on to some cheery, some more lighthearted news. Super Bowl. We got Chiefs Eagles this Sunday. It marks the end of the football season. We all know that when there's no football, sports isn't the same. Daily fantasy's not the same. Betting's not the same. There's a record billions of dollars being bet on this game. Myself personally, I'm not touching it. I have no idea what to expect of this game. Usually with the game, I have a little bit of trajectory. I can say, hey, I think this, I think this. If you had to put a gun to my head, I'm taking the Chiefs. But nobody's putting a gun to my head, so I'm not taking anybody. Now, the Chiefs have a lot of question marks. How healthy is Mahomes? How healthy is Kelsey? Mecole Hardman is now out. There's a lot of injuries on there that we don't really know how healthy they are. Then you got to go over to the Eagles side. You do. I think there's 7 people left from the last that have Super Bowl experience. You got Jalen Hurts in his first one. Now, as I watched him in the college championship, the dude was cool as a cucumber there. But again, this is the Super Bowl. And, one of the best takes that I heard on this was listening to Mad Dog. And he was talking about who he's going to take. And he goes, well, Sirianni, this is his first Super Bowl. You got a 50-minute introduction. You got a longer halftime. Who's going to keep these players involved? And they were looking over there like, so you're saying that the Eagles aren't going to win because of player introductions and Rihanna? And he just started laughing. But I think that there is something to that. This isn't a normal football game. It is a longer halftime. You got to keep the guys energetic. I mean, to me, obviously, Philadelphia on paper is just far superior. except for two key points, in my opinion. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid is just a genius. We all know that. The fact that he left Philly and now is playing against Philly, I think that that's a nice little thing. And just Patrick Mahomes is, just Patrick Mahomes. I mean, on track to become one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. 5 straight AFC championships. Obviously wasn't good enough for the Chicago Bears, but brilliant player. I don't know how you go against him. I don't know. To me, this game is a coin flip if I've ever seen one. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Jeffrey?
Yeah. So my thoughts are, I just think that Philadelphia is going to be able to control the line of scrimmage to a point where, listen, Sirianni, he watched the game tape, right? You're trying to block Chris Jones, okay? He's going to throw chips out there. Philly has one of the best offensive lines in the entire NFL. I do think that they will control that line of scrimmage, and I do think that they will try to keep Mahomes off the field as much as possible. I could see Philly winning the opening kick, coming right down the field, throwing the ball twice on the entire drive, and scoring a touchdown. And that's just the way that the tone is going to be set for the entire.
So you're
game.
saying Eagles win the coin toss, take the ball, and shove it down the Chiefs' throat?
I'm not like throwing a parlay in there. What I'm saying is that I could see the Eagles winning the coin toss and just literally running the ball right down the field against the Chiefs. Absolutely.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, but I'm not like gonna bet that like.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I'm just saying. You said Eagles win the coin toss. Boom, touchdown.
Like there's some interesting first touchdown props and stuff like that. I would take probably one of the running backs from Philly, first touchdown score for sure. I've always said the way that you beat Jalen Hurts is that you try to put 8 or 9 in the box and you try to make him beat you over top. And I do think that there will be shots for Philly to be had. Now, that being said, I think that they will try to key on A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith as much as they can from the Chiefs side. So if you're looking for like a flyer on like an anytime touchdown score, I think if you look at Quez Watkins, right?
Quez Watkins.
Anytime touchdown score at about plus 700 is fun. I wouldn't take him first one. I wouldn't take him MVP. None of that stuff. But just anytime touchdown score, 7-1 is fun. I think I could see that being parlayed with like a Travis Kelce anytime touchdown, right? Because I look, Mahomes has Kelce. He's gonna get schemed open, right? I think if you can get that multiplier in there of adding Kelce to one of those anytime touchdown scoring bets that are plus 700, and boost it up to plus 1,000, plus 1,100, that's always going to be a fun bet for you as well too. I do think the Eagles win this football game. I think Jalen Hurts will make the throws necessary to win the game, and I just think that the Chiefs will be back to the drawing board and looking at that division. It's going to be tough in that division. Really
so I mean, I think that this is
that Mahomes isn't going to come out, and I mean, you never want to bet against Patrick Mahomes. It's not a smart thing to do, but I will take Philly's defense against Patrick Mahomes and that offense for sure.
Well, I think that we both agree that coming down to it, the game rests on Jalen Hurts. I mean, like you said, if I'm the Chiefs, I'm stacking the box and I'm making Hurts throw the ball down the field, which he isn't the most accurate, hasn't completed the most passes of that nature. Again, yeah. Chad said Gainwell TD sleeper. Yeah, absolutely.
I like that too.
It's just, I mean, that's really justice if served. 34-27 Philly. Is that the game script that was leaked? Is that the
No, that was 37-34.
Oh,
Philly, I believe, was what it was. 37-34 Philly.
We could touch on that in a second because I do have something to say about the scripts. I mean, again, it just this isn't the first time this isn't the first time this came out. It's been out for years, man. One of the former Bears running backs actually came out and said that, and then we haven't heard from him since. So God bless you, Arian Foster. Keep the faith. It's amazing that as good of a team as the Philadelphia is, and when I say good as a team, I'm talking about a rounded team, right? We're talking about offensive weapons, one of the best defensive teams in the league as far as sacks and everything. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about one person. One person. Can the one person do his job? And that is Jalen Hurts. And I think as long as Jalen Hurts does his job, you're absolutely right. Philly should win. Now, with that being said, Mahomes has been known to walk into someone else's office and say, I can do the job better than you. Better luck next year. And the amount of stuff that comes out of this dude, again, how healthy is the ankle? That to me is the biggest one. You know, it looked pretty good against the Bengals. It looked pretty good. But there was definitely some times when he went to throw off that foot, the power wasn't there. You know, the deep ball. Yeah. You know, I mean, Kadarius Toney, I think, is going to play a bigger part in this game if he's healthy. Is he even healthy? I don't even know. I'm just saying shit.
He's been going through walkthroughs. I believe Kadarius Toney will play. He is going to.
You know, that dude is just so fast. So fast. He's going to be a great playmaker. But again, if I'm the Eagles, like you just said, I'm stopping one person outside of Patrick Mahomes. That's Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is Mahomes' go-to, backup, emergency. Oh, shit, I'm about to go down. Where you at, bro? I'm throwing it. Grab it. Dude. You stop Travis Kelce, you win the game. If Travis Kelce could go through that game without a touchdown, Philadelphia wins. 100%. 100%. Book it. Yeah. No touch. Is there a prop for no touchdown for Kelce? Got to be, right? Probably. Got to be like plus 2,000. I think of all of the greatness, and this is, you know, kind of a team sport, but of all of the greatness that we see out of the Eagles, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, the tight end, the both of the running backs,
Goddard.
You know, the defense, everything. We're not talking about whether or not, we're talking about whether one person could do the job to win the game. And I think that's what it went down to when I said, if I had to, I'd take the Chiefs, and that is because of Mahomes and Andy Reid. Sirianni has proved that this year has been they only lost one game, and that is the one game that I picked them in Survivor Pool, by the way. Thank you so much, everybody. Go fuck yourselves for knocking me out of Survivor. The one game against the Commanders. Give me a break. But Sirianni has definitely got the playbook down where, you know, he coached a great year. But I think that Andy Reid's the better coach. And when it comes to coaching staffs, now, yes, Andy Reid does have Matt Nagy on his staff, which is obviously going to hinder him. You know, hopefully he just doesn't talk to Mahomes the entire fucking game. But Andy Reid is going to have a great game plan. I think that Mahomes is the better quarterback. I think they will out-scheme that Philly defense. I think that they will do whatever they give them, they're going to take, whether it be short passes. Mahomes has come a long way in his 5-year career to realize, especially after losing Tyreek Hill, it's not an all or nothing any passes anymore. It's not I got to run for my life. He takes the dink and dunks where usually he didn't take that in the first 4 years. Again, I just think that the coaching out-schemes the Chiefs coaching staff out schemes the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think Mahomes outperforms Jalen Hurts. I just hope it's a good game. That's all.
Yeah. So, but the Eagles went 14-3. By the way, they did lose 3 games, but whatever, semantics.
That was after Hurts got hurt, right?
Yeah. They lost to the Cowboys with Minshew, and then who else did they lose to? They lost to somebody else.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. Assholes.
I do think there are some like interesting fun props for you as well too. Like if you want to kind of try to get down and find something. It depends on obviously where you live and what you can find in terms of out there. There is a prop bet that has either team to convert a 4th down in their own territory, or both teams to convert a 4th down in their own territory for plus money that I like. I think both coaches have been very on 4th down the entire playoffs, no matter the situation. Sirianni, Reid, they're both analytic guys, pedal to the metal. I could see them both going for it in their own territory and getting a 4th down conversion there as well too.
Is the dome closed?
Yeah, they're playing inside.
Dumb.
They are. Now, there are some fun. I'm very much looking forward to halftime. I love Rihanna. I think she's absolutely incredible, and all of her songs are absolute bangers, right? So,
do we ever figure out what was going on with the Dr. Seuss hair?
We're not going there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
So there are some fun things, right? Like "Don't Stop the Music" will that be the first song? Umbrella, you know. I guess she's been going through like hundreds of set lists, and she hasn't decided on what it's going to be yet. But
hundreds of set lists.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about all the songs she has. I could see Umbrella at plus 600 being a fun play there, to be able to go with first song.
And where are these odds via, please?
You can find them anywhere online. Just contact your local bookmaker. They'll make sure to take care of you.
Your local legal bookmaker.
Yeah, DraftKings, FanDuel, whatever those people who don't sponsor our stream would like you to do.
We are open for sponsorship. Anybody, hit up the DMs. Questions at theuninformedfan.com.
Are you a bet the coin toss guy when it comes to the Super Bowl?
I used to put a G on the coin toss every year.
How did that work out for you?
About as well. Betting to me is about as fun as. Did you see the Family Guy one where he walks up, he goes to the betting counter, he goes, "I'd like to bet $100, please," and the guy goes, "Would you like to pick a team?" He goes, "Nope, just keep it, thank you." That's what I feel like betting on that kind of stuff is. It was just something that you pissed away your money on.
It's so funny, dude. You were talking about the conspiracy theories with the NFL, and I was watching this comedian, and I'm so sorry that I forget his name. I really want to give him credit for this joke that he says, because he goes into this thing. He's like, there's some people in this world that I just don't have time for, right? Whether you're a racist, a bigot, homophobic, you're just, I don't have time for you. Or also, if you don't believe in conspiracy theories, right? He goes, and here's why. He goes, I'm not saying you got to believe in all conspiracy theories, but you don't believe in one conspiracy theory? He's like, the government is in charge of millions and millions of people, and I'm in charge of one person, my son, and I lie to that motherfucker all the time.
Oh yeah, dude. There's a lot of interesting stuff on there as far as the props go. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. To me, the Super Bowl, I don't know. It's just so fluffy anymore until you get to game time. There's so much hype up to it. There's so many things. All of the talk shows are down there. We got invited. Unfortunately, our schedule didn't work to be there in Arizona this weekend. We were also
in 4 months. So
we were also supposed to be at the waste management. On 16 this week.
Had to pass that up.
Yeah, we did.
It's unfortunate. I do want to say a few things about Super Bowl though. It's almost like the NFL got the storylines that they want to with everything, right? You have the Kelsey brothers playing each other. Jason and Travis. You got Andy Reid going against. Sirianni and the Eagles, and and everything that entails as well. And then you got your two black quarterbacks starting the game as well, in terms of Mahomes and in terms of Jalen Hurts, which is the first time in NFL history that happened. So big shout out to guys like Doug Williams who helped pave this way and make it possible. It'll be great to see. I mean, they're two athletic guys with big arms. They play completely different styles, in my opinion. In terms of Hurts being more of a runner, will Hurts' shoulder hold up. He's looked a little injured as well too, and then Mahomes being more of a pocket passer. So breaking down all kinds of stereotypes over here at the Uninformed Fan, and big shout out, especially in Black History Month as well too, the month of February, to have both those quarterbacks in there. It'll be a great game.
I look forward.
Your official pick is.
I really look forward to a time when this
is gotta talk about that?
When this is no longer an issue. Okay. I really do. We talked about this, and we talked about whether we're not going to touch on this. Racism is alive in the United States, and it's alive in dark corners and alleys and everywhere you go. But on the same token, it's just like, I can't wait to get to a point when we stop talking about. I don't see you as I don't see Mahomes as a black quarterback, because I'm not black, and obviously I know that everybody else is going to see it differently. But I just see a man out there playing a game. When I look at the NBA, I don't sit there and say, okay, well, how many or this, I just enjoy the game. I really look forward to, and not to, retract anything from the African American community about, the progress and the celebration of the two black quarterbacks in the league. I just can't wait, man. Hopefully someday in my lifetime, probably not. I just want to look at my fellow man as my fellow man, not as an African American man, not as a white man, not as a brown or Spanish. My fellow man. That's all. That's just God. I can't wait for that. Maybe by the time I get to heaven, that'll all be cool up there. We can just hang out and not see this. But I just can't wait till we get to a day when this is no longer an issue. When we see each other as our fellow man and not by the color of their skin or whatever type of politics or, gender orientation or whatever it is, just our fellow man, fellow woman. Just enjoy each other, man. Just enjoy the culture that everything has. You reference Black History Month. American history is Black history. It shouldn't be relegated to a 1 month, in my opinion. There's a lot of things that we can get into about all that, but you know what? Just, man, I can't wait till we get to that point when we stop talking about stuff like that and we just enjoy.
Hopefully soon. Did you see how tough? So not to divert at all, because that was great, poignant, great words from you, Mr. Tyson Thomas. But you mentioned the waste management.
Yes.
As well. And did you see how much they struggled yesterday? It was like frosted and windy and just
I did not.
Terrible. And,
I did see a something about where they're trying to ban the beer cans being thrown this year.
I can imagine. Yeah.
I think they put up nets or something.
A lot going on with that when they just completely bombard the course and hold up play and everything like that. But always a fun time. What are your plans for Super Bowl, Tyson?
I don't know, Jeffrey. What are your plans for Super Bowl?
I might just go to our local pub and watch it there.
It'd be nice to get invited to that.
In between all the degenerates, I haven't made a decision yet. It's going to come down to if my wife wants to do something, if she really wants to allow me to go.
Well, my wife is working, so I am solo.
Okay.
So
well, we have to. Yeah, I mean, listen. Let's figure it out and chop that up off stream.
Let's chop it up. The last thing I'm going to want to talk about is actually, I guess we can put the official picks in. Again, I mean, we're gonna go down to our playoff picks here. Obviously, business time is just blowing away off the schneid this year. I'm gonna take the Chiefs. I know you're gonna take. Are you taking the Eagles?
Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles.
All right, so let's be on separate sides. I'm taking the Chiefs, but again, if I'm laying down a rack or something, I'm not taking either one of them. I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy the game for probably one of the first times in Super Bowl history for me. The last thing I want to talk about is the 2023 Hall of Fame class. And I just, obviously I'm wearing this shirt today. This is 23. Devin Hester, one of the greatest return mans, if not the greatest return man of all time, did not get into the Hall of Fame once again. And to me, goes back to these writers and all this other stuff about this made up criteria that they have, this stupid club that they don't just do what they should do. Now, I'm not knocking anybody else that got in there. Not knocking anybody else, not saying that anybody else shouldn't have got in there. I think Devin Hester should have been a first round ballot Hall of Famer. When you had teams that design entire schemes to keep the ball away from you, the entire scheme of a special teams kickoff, punt return was designed for you to not touch the ball. How many players in NFL history can we say that teams schemed and just came up with the entire play scripts to keep the ball away from you? The way that they did them, the Bears did him at the end of his career, was absolutely dirty. He ended up breaking the record in Atlanta. But this man, who lives here in Orlando, Florida, with us, Jeffrey, right around the corner, is one of the nicest, humble human beings that I've ever met. He worked out at the LA Fitness, where I used to work out over there. Just a great dude. As you know, I'm not a fanboy, so I'm not going to go up there where I'll be doing leg presses, being like, what's up? But to keep this man out of the Hall of Fame, to me, is just an absolute fucking joke. Shame on the writers. It's just like the guys that, who was the guy that didn't vote in Ken Griffey Jr. just because he didn't want to, just so it wasn't unanimous. Just assholes like that. Like, okay, dude, you got your name on, you got your 5 minutes of fame. You're a complete joke. And your actual vote should be revoked at that time because you actually came out and said it. Well, I just did it so he didn't, because there was never been a unanimous. Like, go play cricket in your backyard. Let the professionals do what they need to do. You have
or just go dance in traffic. Like, that's such a egregious fucking take. Like, Ken Griffey Jr. is the most natural, most beautiful, gifted baseball player we've ever seen in our life.
It's just, to me, it's just, now, again, don't let me wrong. I don't know who some of these players are. I know a lot of them are older and been on the ballots a lot. And I think it's more of that. I think it's just more of, they want to control who gets in early. And because it does beef up, I guess, your credibility or stuff like that. Devin Hester has nothing else to prove. Now, I know one of our friends, Ian, if he's even watching, is going to say, oh, this guy from Washington. Whatever, bro. Different game, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Don't really care. Because Jeffrey has even said that the athletes today are 10 times the athletes that they were then. So your argument's out the door. This man had plays designed to keep him from touching the ball. They kicked the ball out of bounds 7 times out of 10 to keep him from touching the ball. No player has had a more positional impact on the game, in my opinion. That goes quarterbacks, running backs, everyone.
That's a very hot take from you, Tyson.
Hot take.
That's a very
straight from Chi-Town, baby.
Listen, I will say Devin Hester does deserve to be in to the Hall of Fame. He will get into the Hall of Fame. So that's not a question of if, but it's a question of when. Listen, other guys who got snubbed out as well too: Patrick Willis, Torrey Holt. You know, those
Torrey
guys
Holt. That was a good one.
Really good players as well too, who unfortunately didn't make the cut. Who did make the cut? And I'm very surprised that you're wearing the orange, but you're not wearing the creamsicle.
Secondary.
Our boy Rondé Barber, baby. Rondé Barber finally gets into the Hall of Fame. Very much deserved. One of the best nickel corners of all time. His stats stack up there with anybody who you deem relevant as well too. He gets in. Darrelle Revis, Zach Thomas, some older guys who played back in the day who I think were on their last leg as well too.
A couple of the O linemen from like back in the day. And again, I'm not knocking anybody else that got on there. And the fact that we put a limit on who can get in, to me, is egregious as well. If somebody deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Why is it? Well, you deserve to be a Hall of Fame, but not before these 10 people.
There's also some other arguments. I forget who it was who I heard say this, but they were talking about having like subsets into the Hall of Fame as well too. Like in terms of you have a Hall of Fame within the Hall of Fame for the people who were truly magnificent as well.
Then stop right there. Then that just tells me that the Hall of Fame is a sham, just like other Hall of Fames, just like all-star games that are voted by the fans. Because just like you said, if there's a cream of the crop inside the crop, then the cream of the crop should be the Hall of Fame, and not the field itself, the cream.
Why do we have the Hall of Fame in the first place?
I have no idea.
We have the Hall of Fame to be able to recognize players and individuals, right, who were great and all-time greats in the sport that they're playing in, and so that there's a place where kids can go, or people can go, and they can be celebrated for all of eternity, or for as long as this earth is around, right? That being said, those guys that definitely deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, but also there is an upper echelon as well too, of more of, you know, the hierarchy. Like, do I think Tom Brady and Zach Thomas should be right next to each other? No, probably not. You know, like Tom Brady deserves to be in a different class.
So what do you do? What do you have, a back room with the crown jewels?
Well, you know, when you go into the National Archives, they don't just have the Declaration and, you know, everything right there for you.
How would you know? You were banned. You didn't pass security clearance.
That was the White House. That wasn't the National Archives, all right?
For those of you who missed that episode back there, Jeffrey didn't get his clearance to go to the White House. They said he was a no-go. He's a threat to the national security.
They didn't say I was a threat.
Sleepy Joe was scared by Jeffrey.
They were setting up for a press conference. They didn't want me there.
Yeah, press conference. Woohoo! Probably because the stunt double was coming in. Anyway, you know, that's my thoughts on the Hall of Fame and the fact that, you know, Devin Hester didn't get in again. It's just absolutely egregious. Now, I will tell you.
He will get there.
He will. You know, the only thing, the NHL trade deadline is also coming up, and I know we haven't talked about the NHL much.
At all.
But, you know, the rumor is that Patrick Kane has been given his list of teams to be traded. That is absolutely a heartbreaking moment for Chicago. He does deserve better, but my God, it's just going to be so hard to see him go. So, God be with you, Patrick Kane. Thank you for the 3 cups in 5 years. We really do appreciate that. On that note, it's Friday. It's the Friday before Super Bowl. You guys all have a good time. Enjoy. Eat up all the chicky wings, the steaks, the smokers. You know, that's the one thing about the Super Bowl. It's just the traditions that's around it, man. Everybody getting together, eating good food. It's like a Thanksgiving, but not. You know, it's just it's kind of like a Friendsgiving, right? Just your family's not over there.
Show us your meat, guys, you know? Go ahead and DM Tyson all your meat.
Do not DM me your meat. Post it on the Twitter.
He wants to rate your meat, you know? Be more than happy to tag him at TRL Business Time. Make sure to follow so you can direct message him as well, too. And make sure to show him your meat from Super Bowl.
Follow the Uninformed Fan and post your picture of your meat on the Uninformed Fan, and we will both get in there and rate your meat. Make sure if you're going to put a smoking, I want to see that smoke ring around that ring. All right, around the meat. Everybody have a good weekend. Stay safe. We're going to talk to you for your hangover Monday. We will still be here. We will be hungover. What do you mean no?
We got to talk about that off air.
No, we're doing it. The people demand. The people want us. 6,000 people in here right now demand.
I have that legacy outing on Monday.
Don't care.
Starting at 10 a.m.
So we can do it at 8 a.m.
Okay, fine. Done.
All right. We're going to be live Monday morning, apparently. Holy shit.
9 a.m.
9 a.m.?
Yeah.
I thought it's at 10.
Yeah, but it's
anyway, follow.
Where
are we at? It's way over there. Follow the Twitter. We'll post it. We'll keep you guys updated. We're going to do a show on Monday. Who knows what time it's going to be. Earlier the better. We'll probably be hungover. We'll probably be drinking on the air just to keep the juices flowing before we pass back out. But that's just the way it is at the Uninformed Fan. We're here for the people. We're here for you. We're here to give you the voice because, Jeffrey, our feelings, what?
Don't give a fuck about your facts.
That was a little egregious. Everybody have a great weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for all the comments. If you have any questions, anything you guys would like to see us on the show, email us questions@theuninformedfan.com or follow us on Twitter. Shoot us a message. Have a great weekend. Have a good Super Bowl.